In 1967, America feared one man more than riots, crime, or even war. He didn't carry a weapon. He didn't call for violence. He simply refused to be convenient. His name was Muhammad Ali. It was 1967. Muhammad Ali, the most famous boxer on the planet, had been officially stripped of his heavyweight championship title. His name was erased from fight posters. He was banned from entering the ring. In the eyes of the government, he was no longer a hero. He was a problem. The reason was simple and terrifying to the system. Ali had refused to go to the Vietnam War. He said it out loud. He said it boldly. He said it in a way that could not be ignored. No Viet Cong ever called me the N-word. To millions of Americans, this was treason. To others, it was extraordinary courage. But to the government, television networks, and sponsors, Ali became toxic. He had to be silenced. It didn't work. Even without the ring, Ali remained impossible to ignore. He talked. He debated. He joked. He provoked. He appeared on television because he was simply too big to erase. And on the evening of September 14, 1967, Muhammad Ali walked into NBC Studios in Burbank, California, to appear on one of the most popular shows in the country, The Dean Martin Show. The producers were nervous. The network executives were nervous. The advertisers were nervous. Dean Martin was not. Backstage, Dean sat in his dressing room, sipping coffee and lazily flipping through his cue cards. "The boxer is here," a producer said, poking his head in. "Which boxer?" Dean asked without looking up. "Ali. Muhammad Ali." Dean raised an eyebrow. "The guy who didn't go to Vietnam? That's the one. Interesting." That was Dean Martin, nearly impossible to rattle. He had survived Hollywood, Las Vegas, the mob, fame, scandals, and personal loss. He had learned long ago that the world was too loud to react to every shout. While America feared Ali, his politics, his religion, his unapologetic black identity, Dean Martin felt only calm curiosity. And that calm would soon change television history. The Dean Martin Show was designed like a friendly party. The set looked like a living room. A bar sat right on stage. Dean spent the evening drinking, singing, and joking as if the audience were guests in his home. Every Thursday night, millions of Americans tuned in to forget, just for an hour, about war, protests, and fear. But that night, fear arrived anyway, along with Muhammad Ali. Ali entered the studio with his entourage, 3 large men in sharp suits and bow ties. The production staff watched carefully. Ali was unpredictable. He could turn any live broadcast into chaos. The producer's plan was cautious. A short interview, a little talk about boxing, some shadowboxing, and then move on. No politics. No risk. Ali had no intention of being cautious. When Dean Martin stepped onto the stage, the audience erupted in applause. Tuxedo, drink in hand, relaxed posture, he sang, joked about his drinking, and created a sense of total ease. Then he said, "Tonight we have a former heavyweight champion of the world. I say, former, because they took his title away. Apparently, he didn't want to go fight in Vietnam." Pause. "I don't blame him. I didn't want to go either. That's why I joined the Air Force. Better food." The audience laughed. Nervously. "Please welcome Muhammad Ali." Ali walked on stage as if he owned it. Perfectly tailored black suit. Quick, almost dance-like movements. He stepped right up to Dean. "Dean Martin. The king of cool. I've been waiting to meet you." Dean didn't step back. He smiled, took a sip. "Well, here I am, champ. Was it worth the wait?" Ali began circling him like a fighter before a bout. "They say you're the coolest man in show business. But I'm the coolest man in any business. I'm faster than you. And I'm definitely more famous." "Maybe," Dean shrugged. "At least 2 of those." "Which 2? I'll let you figure that out." The audience exploded with laughter, but the tension remained. Ali launched into shadowboxing, his punches stopping inches from Dean's face. He rhymed, bragged, performed. Dean simply stood there, watching, occasionally sipping his drink. He wasn't afraid. And that threw Ali off. "You're not scared of me?" Ali asked, genuinely surprised. "Should I be? I'm the heavyweight champion of the world." Dean replied calmly. "They took the title, remember?" The audience gasped. No one corrected Muhammad Ali like that. But Ali laughed. "You've got courage," Ali said. "Most white men look at me and see a threat. What do you see? Dean paused. I see a guy who talks way too much. My ex-wives talked less, and that's saying something. Laughter. Then Dean grew serious. And I see a man who stands up for what he believes in, even when it costs him everything. That's not scary. That's brave. The studio went quiet. In 1967, almost no white public figures defended Muhammad Ali. It was too risky, too controversial. But Dean Martin did it, live on national television, without drama, without fear. You really mean that? Ali asked softly. I don't say things I don't mean, Dean replied. It's too much effort. Then Ali did the unthinkable. He grabbed the microphone. I want to sing. Panic in the control room. This wasn't scripted. This could be a disaster. Dean looked at him for a long moment. He could have said no. He didn't. All right, champ, let's hear what you've got. Ali couldn't really sing. He missed notes. His rhythm drifted. It didn't matter. The audience was on its feet. He sang about himself, danced, shadowboxed between verses, filled the room with raw energy. And Dean Martin watched him with something rarely seen in his eyes, genuine respect. I think you should stick to boxing, Dean said afterward. The audience roared. When the applause finally faded, it was clear something bigger than entertainment had happened. Dean continued the show, but everything else felt like background noise. Ali sat quietly at the side of the stage, staring at the floor. For once, he wasn't talking. He was thinking. After the show, in an empty hallway, Ali approached Dean. I meant what I said out there, Ali said. You're not like the others. We're all different, champ, Dean replied. No, Ali shook his head. Most people see my skin color first, even the good ones. You just saw me. Dean exhaled cigarette smoke. Everyone wears a mask. Yours is the loudest man in the room. Mine is the guy who doesn't care. Underneath, we're just people trying to get through. They shook hands. The next morning, NBC's phones rang non-stop. Some viewers were thrilled. Others were furious. Newspapers called it a scandal. Advertisers complained. But the ratings were enormous. For the first time, many Americans saw Muhammad Ali not as a threat, but as a human being. Ali didn't return to the ring right away. But he gained something else, the understanding that he didn't need everyone's approval. He only needed to be seen. Years later, Ali would say, in 1967, Dean Martin was the only white entertainer who treated me like an equal. When Dean Martin died in 1995, Ali sent flowers with a note. To the only man who was cooler than me. When Muhammad Ali died in 2016, his family found an old photograph from that night. Two men, one black, one white, shaking hands on a television stage while America burned around them. On the back, in Ali's handwriting, were 3 words. He saw me.